What's the Car Talk podcast?
Hello and welcome back to the Car Talk podcast. We're back after a 1 month hiatus, our Christmas break, but we have been busy, haven't we, Bailey, during our Christmas break with an awards video for each of our channels. How are you doing, by the way? Bailey is obviously back, his channel.
Yeah, I'm obviously back on my own channel. That would be very important.
Yeah.
But I'm all right, Matty. Did you have a good New Year?
Yeah, Bailey's back. Haven't bought him out just yet. Not bad New Year. Going well so far. 2024, first 17 or so days in.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll gain another 3 listeners this year. Who knows?
Yeah, hopefully. That's the goal, really, isn't
it? Today on this month's podcast, the theme is best and worst, if you like, cars of the year. This all stems from the Jeep Avenger. As we know, a running theme on this podcast is the calamities, trials and tribulations of Jeep. We all know they're crap. So that's where our theme comes from today. So we'll be discussing some of the best and possibly the questionable cars of the years from time gone by. But for now, as usual, we're going to do a bit of the car news and transportational opinion for the first month of 2024. Would you like to start, Bailey?
Yes, I would. And I don't know about you, Matty, but I didn't really find very much news. I don't know if you did or not.
I did.
You did? All right. Oh, it's just me then. I've got a couple of things. The first one I'll start off with is, have you seen Honda's new rebrand?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Well, it's quite recent. I think it's literally today as of recording this. If you type in Honda... just put in like new Honda logo.
New Honda? They've
just sort of modernised the H. It looks quite cool. It's gone from like have inner circle and into like just a black H now, with like a fancy background. But as part of this, Matty, they've released 2 new cars, or they've announced 2 new cars as part of it, and they're called the Honda Zero Series. Bit of an odd name.
Yeah.
But there's 2 cars. One of them's a saloon, and the other one's an MPV, which is more what I'm interested in. Well, not so, actually. You'll see why in a minute. It's called the Space Hub. And have a look at this. I will send Anne a photo in the chat if I can find one. Bear with me.
While you're saying that, I would just like to say that I don't know about Zero Series, but there's zero creativity in this new logo. I'm sure for the YouTube viewers we'll put a picture on screen. But this new logo looks like they've got a silhouette of 2 chairs, possibly high-backed couches, like sort of booth things you'd see in a restaurant, and just pushed them together. I could make this actually out of some of the furniture in my house, but that's what it looks like. 2 chairs pushed together is the new Honda logo.
Yeah, pretty much. They haven't really thought it out as well, have they?
So this
it looks more modern.
The new Honda space station, is it?
Yes. It's an MPV thing. It? Let me just show you the back of it as well, because that's the more important part, because it is hideous. Yeah. Bear with me a second. It's been 2 months, ladies and gentlemen. We are a little bit slow.
Oh.
There it is.
I mean, that is...
What do you think of that?
If that is what sums up 2024, I'm not really looking forward to it. An aerodynamic milk truck with a big chunk of metal at the end and a bit of red lighting around it. Okay.
It's so awful, isn't it? You know how we, just last year, I think it was... I don't know what car it was, but it was like the Dacia something or other, and it was that horrible green car that we talked about, and we were like, that's the worst car we've ever seen. I think this is the new one.
Yeah, that looks like some sort of kitchen appliance from possibly the 1970s or something like that. Something that would have been quite cool and advanced back in the day, but if you look at it, it actually looks like the back of a bus, doesn't it? It's awful.
It does. It's awful. And it's funny you say that. It says you say how it looks kind of retro, but that's the idea they went for, is they wanted like an 80s modern retro look. But I think they've just gone too far. It's more like Back to the
it must be a
Future
slow news
stuff,
month for
isn't
you, at least, because if that's what you've kicked off the podcast with, then
it's bad luck, is it?
Bad luck. Perhaps, seeing as I'm hosting, I should have produced this podcast a bit better than I have, because what I'm kicking off with this month is actually brilliant news, and you're going to love this, Bailey. Mazda news. Mazda have, of course, disowned you now because you've moved over to Land Rover, but Mazda is launching the rotary engine again. So they have started developing a new rotary engine. What's Wankel rotary engine?
The Wankel, yeah.
Yes. Now this is all kicked off, Bailey, from a car that we seemingly missed last year on the podcast. I'm pretty sure we haven't mentioned this, but you may correct me. So Mazda last year, they released a concept car called the SP. Did we mention this last year?
I don't think so.
Okay,
actually.
so if you Google the Mazda SP concept, this was launched in 2023, or it was unveiled in 2023 at the Japan Mobility Show. Now, clearly, this isn't a car for people with mobility issues. First of all, it looks absolutely fantastic.
It looks stunning.
Gull-wing doors.
I believe I've actually seen this. I've seen the render somewhere.
It's absolutely beautiful, and also I don't know how they're going to get away with this or whether it'll make it to production, but it has a modern variation of pop-up headlamps. I mean, how cool is
cool.
That?
I can see on the photo they sort of slide, don't they?
So it's almost like sort of electric eyelashes, sort of thing like that. Eyelids, basically. And this car last year, Bailey, had such a great response that the CEO of Mazda is very, very happy with that. He has decided none other than to develop or start development of the new Wankel rotary engine. So this that engine could well be seen in this car, or a modern sort of non-concept production version of the beautiful Mazda SP. So I would really, really love that to happen.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, that's a fantastic looking car in its own right, and the Wankel engine, forgetting the reliability issues, is very iconic.
Well, possibly
as well,
so. that they may get round that or whatever.
Well, yeah, they're Japanese. They always figure a way out, don't they? You should have started that off straight away, Matty. I don't know why you didn't do that.
Usually you've got more interest in news than me, but I don't know. Is it role reversal this month or something? You
this year maybe.
Yeah. You did provide all the batshit crazy news, and I stick to the power and
yes,
stuff like that.
It would make sense actually, because my two next pieces of news are actually what you would probably put normally.
Oh, great! Let's hear them.
So, the new Ford Cougar facelift.
Oh, what the hell have you decided this for? I don't think I would stoop so low as to provide news on the new Ford Cougar. Matt Watson's there for that. There's a reason why fucking Matt Watson's on YouTube, and it's for that sort of shit.
The reason I've included this is because it actually looks quite good.
It doesn't, Bailey. I have to say
it doesn't. The new one, it looks like a Fiesta at the front. It's brilliant. I think it looks really sleek. Anyways, comes with new engine offerings, including hybrids, so that's great. And I think, as I said, it's much better looking. I'm a changed man this year, Matty. I'm more open and interested in things.
Is that one of your New Year's resolutions that was set for you, was it?
No.
Right, I think, viewers and listeners, Bailey has had a bit of a bump on the head there. But speaking of mainstream cars, I've got one here. It starts off bad news, but then it gets better.
Oh.
So basically, in 2027, the Volkswagen Up, which has just been taken out of production, small car from Volkswagen, their smallest offering, it is to return in 2027 as a low-cost EV, right? And this is going to be priced from around £25,000. So, quite a lot of money.
The same as a Golf GTI then.
Yeah, quite a lot of money for an electric small Golf and small Volkswagen Up. And the Up has always been a little bit Spartan, good cars, but they've always been very sort of economy minded. And I wouldn't give 25 grand for a brand new Up. But what I would give 15 grand for, Bailey, which seems a lot better value for money, a lot more fun, and it's petrol powered, is going to be the new MG3. Should I send you?
Yeah,
send you a picture?
Does it look the same as the old one? Yes.
No, it doesn't.
No, I'm joking. I'm looking at the pictures now. Yeah, it does look quite different.
Okay, so it looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit better. And this is purely consumer advice. As I've mentioned hundreds of times on this podcast, the outgoing MG3, very fun car to drive. I love an underdog, and that is an underdog. It's very underrated. Such a good car. Future classic. I'm probably going to buy one in about 20 years' time if I don't need a car with loads of space. And primarily, one of the reasons I've mentioned all of this is because you'd rather buy that for 15 grand than pay 10 grand more for a Volkswagen Up with some batteries in it, right? Am I right, or am I right?
Yes, I'd have that over the Up. I reckon.
God help us all, because it's your turn now for any more news that you may have.
Brilliant. I'd like to talk about the Porsche Macan EV.
Right, we're off to a good start, ish.
It's essentially the Macan, but with an electric engine. How brilliant is that?
Not interested.
To be fair, neither am I. But it's basically a facelift Macan that they've done twice already.
Yeah.
And it's going to have 300 miles of range, 600 horsepower, and 1,000 torque.
Yeah.
Again, unnecessary. But it's going to have a high-tech heads-up display. Yeah. And actually, it's going to be revealed properly when this podcast comes out. So there's a bit of news for you there.
What do you mean revealed? Is it just going to be like...
well, they've announced it, but they're actually revealing
going to be
it.
a smattering of onlookers going,
likely.
Look, there goes the new Porsche Macan EV. Looks exactly
anyway,
the same as the old one.
Exactly. Well, it sort of looks a little bit different. It's actually a bit more bulky at the front, I assume, because of the bigger batteries in it. But I, to be fair, I've always been like a decent fan of the Macan because it is a Porsche. And you know what I am like about Porsches, so
weird.
That's all my car news. Weird, no.
Okay. Right, so that's all of Bailey's car news. So if you'd like to follow us on social media, then you can... It's now up to me to steer the ship for the rest of the car news before we move on to our theme. I think we've only been recording for about 3 minutes, and Bailey's exhausted all of his car news, and it's all been shit shit.
Yeah, I just wanted to get all of it out the way so you can talk about it.
Great. I would also like to talk about a new Ford. This is the new Ford Focus Active. It's a new SUV.
Hang on a minute, Atty. It's a Mazda CX-5, isn't it?
Was it the new Mazda CX-5?
Yeah, I thought it was the new Mazda CX-5.
I thought it was the new Ford Focus. Oh, we're both wrong, actually. I misread that.
Oh.
This is the new rugged Subaru Crosstrek.
I see. I mean, it's easy to get them mix them up, really.
It is. It's like one night in Bangkok between a Focus Active and a CX-5, and now we sort of have this sort of ugly, sort of chunky, inbreedy Subaru. Which definitely has Ford Focus Active wheels, lights, grille, and then like a kind of CX-5 quarter light.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Good news from Renault. Renault have become one of the fastest growing brands, all thanks to a sales boom in vans. Is that because of the Renault Kangoo? Well, listen, you may be wondering why I've brought this up. So it's the Renault Kangoo and the Renault Traffic. have both been experiencing really, really good sales recently, which has been good news for Renault. But it may not necessarily be very direct or relevant or affect anything. But you may know that Nissan is part of the Renault van partnership, the little alliance there.
Yes.
They use each other's parts and things. So I'm counting this as a good mark for the Nissan Townstar van because that is effectively a Renault Kangoo. So if the Renault Kangoo
Very true.
is providing a sales boom for Renault, then so is the Nissan Townstar. I will maintain that.
Matty, that reminds me, actually, I did actually see a Nissan Townstar the other day.
Did you?
I did. And I can't believe actually someone has bought one and that I saw it. It was brilliant. It was actually the Nissan Townstar, mate. And I've seen it on the road. It's amazing. It's actually like the holy grail.
That's probably the last time this year you're going to see a Nissan Townstar van.
When you say that, it was last year, technically, because I saw it before the new year.
Okay, so far this year, have you saw another Nissan Townstar van?
No.
Oh, God.
That's annoying.
Nissan's sales profile for the Townstar van isn't quite as up there with Renault's.
No, it's because everyone's buying the Kangoo, which has a not as good name.
So, if you would like a little bit more exclusivity, then there's a bit of consumer advice. Buy the new Nissan Townstar van.
Yeah. I think that's a good consumer advice then.
Great. Final bit of news from me, and it's regarding a possible scammer issue that I've come across here. I'm trying to solve a problem here before it rears its head. Citroën, news from Citroën. Citroën make a van called the Space Tourer. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a van-based MPV. It's probably not selling as well as the Renault Kangoo. Probably selling a little bit.
Or the Nissan Townstar.
Probably selling a little bit better than that, like. But Citroën, they make a van called the Space Tourer. They also now have created a camper van version of said van. Would you like to guess the name of the camper van derived Space Tourer thing?
From what was it? The Nissan? Not the Nissan.
No, you've got the Townstar on your mind, haven't you?
I have. Can't not. What's it called? The original one.
I'm just gonna turn my phone on silent there. That's the sales reps at Nissan there getting on at my back there. This is the Citroën Space Tourer. That's the name of the van. And what's the name of the camper van version?
World Tourer.
No, you're wrong. Well, you're quite close there. You're on the right path. So the camper van version of the Space Tourer is called the Citroën Holidays. It's going to be a standalone name.
That's so underwhelming. That's like you got the Space Tourer, the van, and they got the Holiday.
Well, listen,
it's completely different dimension.
I think there's got to be in one of those local shitty newspapers in a few months. Shock horror as old couple have been scammed by someone providing Citroën Holidays in a Space Tourer. So there's literally going to be someone online who's going to get in touch with this old couple, pretending to be from a company called Citroën Holidays, who provides Space Tourer holidays. So they have Betty and Phil coming on going, "Oh, we thought we were going on a space tour around the Med with Citroën Holidays, but it turns out that they don't exist." Real risk for the elderly with this new camper van, I think.
In terms of the looks, Matty, I don't know if I've got the right one, but why does it look like a bulldog?
It does look a bit sort of hearty, doesn't it? Like a little bit beefy.
Yeah. What's with the panels on it? It's all like lines across it. It's like, like those tins of beans that you get. They got the lines around it, like those little. It looks like that.
Looks like if Phil Mitchell was a van, doesn't it? What? I'm a Citroën Holidays. Phil Mitchell impression. Citroen Holidays. Do you think it's going to take off?
For God's sake.
Oh.
This is so rubbish, isn't it?
And that marks the end of the car news for
Conversation Street.
this year. Yeah, the Conversation Street. Yes, we will now book a flight with Citroen Holidays and fly into the theme for this podcast.
Very smooth.
Yeah, which is Cars of the Year. Now, it all comes from the fact that the Jeep Avenger, awful car, was crowned Electrifying's Car of the Year. But one sort of thing that's been going on since the year 1964 is the European Car of the Year. And I think Bailey's definitely going to back me up here. There's been some stinkers over the year, hasn't there, Bailey? Over the years, I should say.
Yes.
Would you say more bad cars than good?
Yeah, I think majority are bad.
Right, okay. But there are a few diamonds in the rough. I'm sure Bailey will provide you with all of the bad ones, and I will tell you the good ones. Not really sure how to do this, really. I've got a list here of every car of the year since the year 1964. I also have the second and third place on some of them as well. And just before we start, I believe that in the year 2000, the Fiat Multipla that just came second place as car of the year should have been first. The winner was the Toyota Verso. You can kind of see the line I'm going down here, can't you? And how?
Do you mean the Toyota Yaris?
Sorry, the Yaris and the Yaris Verso won car of the year. Mark 1 Yaris, very good car actually.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's why that should have won, which it did.
Yeah, okay. Where would you like to start, Bailey?
I was going to start in my year.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Born. So 2001. And I've just had a look at this now, and the Alfa 147 won that year. And I think that's a great car.
It's a great car,
It's a very niche car for Alfa Romeo, but I think not only it didn't really catch on very well, but I think I like the styling of it, and it's a good car, and it's come with the V6.
Yeah,
the
V6. Was it the Lusso engine? Yeah.
Yes.
You say it didn't catch on. It should have caught on, really, shouldn't it? It weren't a bad car.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
that was
it won car of the year, but then there wasn't many of them sold. I swear, I haven't really seen many.
That was probably one of the most mainstream Alfa Romeos you can buy, because obviously you had the likes of the saloons like the 156 and things like that. Later on, the 159, but you know, this was the 1 Series of its day, wasn't it? Really,
it was.
And somehow the 1 Series caught on. That was a good idea. That I might go from my year. I'm slightly younger than Bailey. I was born in 1999. Yeah, 1999. Younger. And the car of the year was the Ford Focus, the Mark 1, which launched a year earlier in 98. And I think the Mark 1 Focus has a lot of similarities to me, because it replaced the Ford Escort, and when it did replace the Ford Escort, it was better in every single way, and that is, well, me. So that's a really good start for.
How is that you, Matty?
Listen, I am a Mark 1 Focus, and you are an Italian car that fell apart and failed.
Right.
Should we go through some proper stinkers with the car of the year? Cars that I want you to give me a few cars here that you categorically know should not have won car of the year.
Yes. Start off with 2012. The Chevrolet Volt.
What is that? What is a Chevrolet Volt?
You've never seen the Chevrolet? That's what I mean. Like, nobody knows what this car is. It's called the Chevrolet Volt, or it's the Opel Ampera, because they did like a collab
very
thing.
Vaguely remember that, yeah.
Have a look, because you'll recognise it then.
Does it have like was it like the sort of shape of a Prius, but it had like boomerangy lights and it looked
that's
about
the
10 miles of range?
Yes. Yeah, what a dreadful car that is. So that's on the list. Also, 2016, the Vauxhall Astra. So just a boring car, and it's a Vauxhall.
Yeah.
Don't know if you agree with that or not.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
And then the 2007, I've got the Ford S-Max.
That was a good car.
You like the Ford
Well,
S-Max?
I wouldn't buy one, but like that.
Same
Yeah,
again.
but in its day, if you were someone who had like loads of kids, but you wanted a car that didn't drive like a van, that was your guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose so. Makes kind of a bit of sense there. And I've got one more here. The Peugeot 208 won on year 2020, which obviously was a bad year, so they had to have a bad car at the end.
Yeah.
Of it.
Listen, I agree with you there, and I think that possibly the French had a bit of a deal going with the organisers of the European Car of the Year. Let me run you through some French cars that fortunately are no longer with us because they all fell apart and are just, in scrapyards now. But here are some French cars that 100% should not have won European Car of the Year. I give you 2002, the Peugeot 307, a real dreadful car, ugly as fuck as well.
Really awful.
Do you remember the convertible version that that Clarkson done on Top Gear, where and they weighed a ton as well. Them cars, they were really bad.
Yeah,
driven one of them,
horrible
awful.
things.
2003. Do you remember the shaking that ass McGann with that advert with it having the big bum and going everywhere? Very good looking car, but so breakable that it definitely shouldn't have won Car of the Year. 2006, the Renault Clio, 3 years later, but it weren't like the little fun to drive Clio. It was,
not the good Clio. That was the shit one. It was the
big bloater. And I'm just scrolling through now to see if there was any more. Oh yes, like you said, the Peugeot 308 2014. Second place in 15, the C4 Cactus. I mean, what the actual fuck? How did that get second place? 17, as you mentioned, the Peugeot 308 2020, the Peugeot 208. I mean, there's definitely something going on with the French there. I'll tell you what was also won in 1990, the Citroen XM. A very good car.
I literally just
a very good car, but really it's not Car of the Year material. This is not something that was not a car for every man and his dog at all. That was like a quirky alternative.
It's got to be a joke, this, surely. Like, where are the, I said to you before the podcast, like, where are the good cars in this? Like, I know this is like about normal everyday cars at the time, but they need to have another list with like best supercar or something.
Yes, possibly, yes.
Because that might be quite a nice idea just to include. Because the amount of effort that goes into a lot of those compared to this.
Well, something that I'm going to mention to the viewers and listeners is that I had to twist Bailey's arm a little bit about how this theme was going to work for our podcast, because I said, look, here's the list of all the European cars of the year. Let's discuss the best and the worst. And he said, what did you say?
I don't know, I can't remember.
Well, you basically said there are no good ones. He said they're all bad.
They're all pretty much bad.
I said no, there are some good cars. So I'm going to rattle through now all of the cars that I think were good, that were worthy cars of the year. Bailey, you're going to tell me the one good one that you like, and then we'll go from there. So we have to kick off, ladies and gentlemen, when we're talking about good cars of the year, with 1996. 1996. The winner in 1996 was the Fiat Brava. Now, not many people have owned one of them, but I have.
Why?
And I'm here to tell you that they are brilliant cars, both of them. I had the Brava, as I'm sure you'll know, and it was a fantastic car, Bailey.
What made it fantastic?
Well, it had the 3 individual street lights at the back like a Ferrari.
Wow.
It was okay to drive, not the worst. It had lumbar support, which is very good, very generous for a car that was only 10 grand back in the day.
Which one's which though? I forget. Yours was the Brava.
Yeah, so mine was like the booted version with the different
See,
lights.
I prefer the Bravo.
Well, yeah, so do I, but there were none of them for sale when on Car and Classic. So with them, they're all like rusty puddles now and scrappage scheme victims. So you kind of have to take what you're given. That's the reason why I bought a bright green one.
Or you could just not buy one and buy something different.
Like what?
Have you still got your Lexus?
Yeah, I've still got my Lexus, but have you still got your Land Rover?
Yes, but it's going very soon. I've got an idea of what I'm going to get next, which you'll hate.
What did you say? It's going very soon.
No, I said it's going to...
It's going...
I see where you're going with that.
That'd be a first.
It's actually brilliant. I fixed the other day. It was brilliant. I know, going off topic a little bit, but you know the warning light that said I needed the oil service. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get it serviced? Did you?
No, I had it serviced like last year when the thing came up.
Ah, that's it. And it didn't believe you. That's it.
No, but then they couldn't get rid of it, and basically it was because for God's sake, I managed to fix the light on it, and do you know how I fixed it?
I'm all ears.
Yeah, so there's basically 3 different models of that car: the pre-facelift, the facelift, and then the facelift with the different instrument cluster. And I'm the facelift in the middle, which I didn't know if I was a pre-facelift or not. So I watched an video, and basically what I had to do, Matty, was I had to go round to the passenger door, open that door, then open the bonnet, close the passenger door, come round into the driver's seat with the door open, and hold the brake and accelerator for exactly 1 minute, and then it goes away.
Do you know what? I'll give you one thing, right? I've always said this about Land Rover, is that they're so straightforward cars to work on that, you know, credit where credit's due. They've got the efficiency.
Well, I suppose they have to be if
Germans,
they all blow up all the time.
Well, no,
as you say.
It wouldn't have been easy enough, would it, to just put a service indicator reset button in it? You have to do the hokey cokey and stick your tongue out and stand in one leg to reset the service.
Well, this is the thing, right, Matty? This is the thing. So the pre-facelift has that button, but when they did the updated one, they didn't include it, and they did that different version. So basically, my mechanic was doing the pre-facelift version, which is why I wasn't going away.
That new complicated version, that was probably just the lads in the Hale Wood factory in Liverpool having a bit of fun with the the owners of that car. You know, they're like that. The lads in
or a bunch of scousers go and nicked all the parts for it, so they couldn't include it.
Well, you've got to have a bit of fun, haven't you? I'm going to return, if I can, to good cars that won European Car of the Year, because, you know, if you are like Bailey, then you need to be converted. So 1996, good year. Also 1993, 3 years earlier. Now, we've talked about this car on this podcast, so you can't say it's a bad car, and you really want to get It's Joel on the podcast, who owns a K11 Nissan Micra. Yes.
Does he actually own it?
Oh, I thought he did. Well, he does the work on it, doesn't he? I thought it was his car.
Possibly. I haven't seen it on his channel.
Oh. Maybe
well, he's a regular viewer, so he can tell us in the comments.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
No, I do like the Micra, Matty, actually. The very first one. It's a fun little car, which I haven't driven. So, yeah. I'm just agreeing with this point, because I can't be bothered.
Oh, right, okay.
No, I do like the Micra, I'll be honest. It's a cool car.
Great.
What 1983, Matty.
1983, we're going back. Well, what about the car from 2019 that you mildly like?
Which is
the Jaguar I-Pace.
Yes. Well, the thing is, I didn't like it until you mentioned that you liked it, and I was like, I best like it then, because I'll just get slaughtered from you. So I sort of like it. To be fair, I do like how it looks, but it's just the fact that it's electric that I don't like.
But it's one of the best electric cars, honestly.
is that really saying much about that though? Because it's electric still.
But,
That's like saying my hairdryer's great. I've got the best hairdryer. It's still a hairdryer though, isn't it?
But I think you need to drive one.
Maybe I would change my mind if I did drive it, but we'll see. If you get me one to review, Matty, then I'll happily review it.
Come to Liverpool, you can drive an I-Pace.
Okay.
Well, other than the Mark 7 Golf, there are no more good cars of the year. So, since 1964, European Car of the Year have probably had a 10% success rate. It's probably bad maths, but yeah, something along. Very low success rate in choosing.
What about the
cars of the year?
In 1983, Matty,
Yeah.
the Audi 100.
Oh, that was a good car. Yeah,
That's a good car.
yeah.
Just remembered that now. I was just looking through some of them on the website now, and I spotted that. So, here we go. 1980 Lancia Delta, great car.
Ooh. See, you're being a little bit more positive now.
That's because I didn't look at all the pre-2000 cars. That's why.
Oh right, okay. Yeah,
what about
but
the Renault 16 in 1966?
we all know that post 2000 cars are the majority of them wear shit anyway. So
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Does that wrap up then, Matty? The car of the year conversation.
well, I thought we could end on what if we had the choice. What would be our car of the year?
This, as in the one that just happened.
Well, yeah.
It's a good question. What cars were good? That's the thing. We had the. I can't think of any. Can you think of any that happened last year that were good?
Nissan Townstar. Well, it's a van, isn't it? So can't have that.
Can't really have that. No.
What about the Lexus IS 200?
Well, that wasn't last year though, was it?
Well, I bought it last year.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it came out last year. It's not the car of the year because it has to come out on that year.
Yeah, but it should have been.
Yes. If it came out last year, I'd be concerned because it looks very 90s. Is it the car of the year when it released?
No, it was the Ford
Exactly.
Focus.
So what we've established there is that there's no good car of the year last year.
No.
No. And on that terrible disappointment.
Yeah, a lot of Grand Tour segues in this show.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
there?
don't know why. Especially this one.
Yeah. I really do think it is time to end because there is, unfortunately, nowhere left to go with this. That was our theme. We've done it. We probably will never return to it. So, on that note, would you like to give us our social medias, Bailey? Your social medias.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say that we passed 3,000 subscribers literally just before the end of the year. I know that I mentioned it in the awards video, but I know I've got different viewers and listeners for this than the other videos, so thank you for that very much. How many subscribers are you on now, Matty?
Well, I was just about to say, actually, I'm 700 subscribers shy of 3,000, so if you would like to subscribe and you do like me, then you can find me on Matty's Cars on YouTube.
Because about this time last year, we were pretty much neck and neck, weren't we?
Well, we were, but you've got a better uploading schedule than me, and obviously you triggered the algorithm, so...
Well, yeah, as of recently, because of... start of the year, I didn't really post at all. I think it was like 6 months where we didn't post, apart from obviously the podcast. But literally, like midsummer, I've still got videos that are scheduled for like a month's time because we filmed so much recently. But yes, anyway, social medias. Obviously, you can subscribe to us here on the channel. That would mean a lot. We want to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which is one of our goals, Matty. But if you are interested in our behind the scenes stuff, then you can follow us on Instagram, which is car culture. Let me remind myself _YT, and then on TikTok it's car culture YT, because it wouldn't let us do both of them. Or you could follow my personal account, Bailey Prickett 27, to see me doing things because I haven't done much recently.
No,
So
I haven't really posted on my personal Instagram for ages, to be honest with you. So it gives me less one-liners to say when I do my social medias, doesn't it? Nonetheless, Matty's Cars on YouTube. If you'd like to see more of me, if you've just discovered this podcast and you are like, who is the host? It's me, Matty's Cars.
No,
on
it's
YouTube.
not.
I am the host today.
Yeah, today, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you like, who's that guy? Then it's me, Matty's Cars. Social media, Instagram wise, you can follow me, Matty's Cars YT on Instagram. And if you would like to delve just a little bit deeper into that guy, Matty, the host for today, then you can go onto my personal Instagram, MattsGram99. And with that, I think that's the end. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, thanks for joining us on our first podcast back.
Yes.
And again, any female guests that would like to
I was
go.
literally about to say that, Matty. That's one of the goals for the podcast this year, is to actually get the female guest on that we promised last year in February. So, yeah, hopefully we can get someone on this year at some point. If not, then we're all screwed.
If not, then expect to see Daniel Apterhouse with us next month.
Or Jamie, you're talking about another thing about JLR.
Yeah. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you in next month's podcast. Bye.